What up, guys? In this video I'm going to be breaking down 3 trades that I took on US30 this past Tuesday. The main one we're reviewing, of course, is this plus 8 RR, which is a pretty massive win for a single trade. And we'll also be breaking down the loss that I took right before it and the break even that I took earlier that day as well. So these are all in one session. This is the 15-second time frame, so we're going to start from the 1/2 hour, as you guys know, and break down, get our buys from there, and then go further down. So on the 1 hour time frame here, we have a distribution model. So in this case, I was looking for shorts. So the 15 minutes also went bearish here. We had 2 breaks up, 3 breaks down. So we know that that third breakdown is going to put the model into distribution. Now the zone that I used for this trade was this 15-minute supply zone. So once we got the third breakdown here in the 15-minute, grab the supply zone, and we can start from all the way back here when we initially tapped it. This is around 11 a.m. on Tuesday. So on the 4-minute, this is where we get our validation. So on the 4-minute, we tapped our 15-minute zone with a red triple M, which is our type 1 validation, as you guys know. MAs are nice and bearish here. So I went ahead, went to the 15-second time frame, and as always, we're looking for some sort of cluster, or let me see, yeah, no clusters over here. So yeah, we're looking for a cluster at this point. So we got one breakdown, cluster zone didn't get tapped there. We got a second breakdown there, right? And then we tap our cluster zone, and I immediately put up my sell stop at the next low. So I remember this trade. This was almost a TP. I believe this trade ran something like, how far did it run? 4.2. I think the full TP was at like 4.8 or something. I think that's what it was. So super unlucky on this one. This would have been a fucking insane day on US30 if both of these trades hit, but unfortunately this one did not hit our TP. The ATR TP method is what I use for the TP, so it told me 4.8 RR is the target. Didn't quite hit it, so that's okay though. We're going to continue, so I'm going to play this forward a bit faster, but this trade ended up hitting break even. And then later on in the session, so now this is now a few hours later, going towards the end of New York session, around 2:30 p.m., we tap back into the same 15-minute zone, which we're allowed to do in this case because the 15-minute had not delivered to the next low yet, so we know that we're able to reuse zones. We tap back into the zone. We get our type 1 validation with this big triple M. Swing rule updates to here, then here, then here. So we are completely valid here. Protected high is on this candle, and we're looking at the 15-second time frame. So we were looking at it since the first tap over here, and we tap it here, and then we make our way down, no entry. We reset right here with this back and forth, and from here I was looking for a new cluster again. So we break down, we break up, we break down, down, up, no clusters anywhere, up, down, down, and this break right here, this break 1 was a cluster because every candle from this break was mitigated. So I believe that would have been the cluster zone there. It gets tapped. That's why I put an entry right there. So I tried to take this cluster here, didn't work out. Once again, this is why you guys should never be scared to re-enter on trades, because a lot of the time, especially with how specific we're trying to get our entries, you will probably take a loss trying to get the perfect entry, but that's completely fine because the winners are much bigger than the losers. So taking one loss in order to get a win is absolutely no big deal. So we take a loss there trying to sell stop the stage 1. It loses, and then we go into stage 1 redis, and then I got a cheeky fractal entry here. So if you notice, that's the top candle. We have a fractal break. We break below the fractal, make a pullback, and then our FB2 line is right there. So I literally slapped a sell stop on right below the FB2 line, stop loss above this little pullback candle, and we got tapped in right there. So now this one, since this was such a tiny stop loss, the ATR TP method told me the TP is all the way down here at 8 RR. So we held it the full 8 RR, no partials, just full TP at 8 RR. So obviously that's a massive win. Made some very, very good money on this, over 5 figures, and it actually ended up dumping double as far. So it literally dumped all the way to 16 RR, which is crazy. But we don't try to gamble here and just hold it for forever. So we were out at 8 RR now. That is more than enough for one trade. And yeah, and then it continued even lower, but that was pretty much the end of New York session on that day. And yeah, so it was a W day for US30. Would have been an absolutely cracked day if this one over here hit TP as well, but you can't have everything in life, right? So whatever. Yeah, so that's that for US30. I'll see you guys in the next breakdown.